Every Wednesday on Instagram and Facebook, we send out questions that we hope inspire and generate further conversation. A few weeks ago, we asked the question, how are you? Actually, though, asking how someone's doing has become a mere greeting rather than an authentic question that demonstrates care and an interest in the person's life. The most common answers that we hear are, I'm doing okay, I'm well, or I'm good, thanks, how are you? But when we tacked on the word actually, we found that we got different responses. Responses were deeper, they were more thought out, authentic and raw. People spoke of feeling stressed, drained, overwhelmed, anxious, and lonely. Others spoke of hope through times of discomfort and ambiguity, and the pursuit of joy. We had lots who responded expressing a sense of exhaustion. But why is the actually necessary? Why aren't we authentic and honest with each other? Why is it so hard to answer how we're doing honestly? I think that sometimes it's hard to know whether people really want to hear our answer or whether they have the time that's needed to listen. I'm sure we're all guilty of asking someone how they're doing with perhaps limited time or maybe not the real intent of hearing a genuine answer. Additionally, answering this question honestly, it requires some vulnerability. There are other times where someone may ask how we're doing and we don't really know. So we hope that this question and this video encourages you to consider asking, how are you? And then taking the time to listen and to love. So today we're going to have a real conversation. So Philip and Larnette, how are you?
Hey, thanks a ton, Dassy. I've been feeling drained. This has been a stressful year. Uh, you know, besides the pandemic, it's like I've never been more uh, upset. Not upset, but disheartened at the amount of celebrities or public figures that are passing. It's almost like every day something happens and it just kind of throws you off just a little bit. Um, but months back, back in the day, like 6 months ago, it was like you were able to just plan your day, plan your months, plan your vacations. I got comfortable. And I think a lot of times we all get comfortable and we take for granted that, you know, your coffee shop is not going to operate the same. It's not promised to operate the same if a pandemic happens, and your schooling system's not promised or guaranteed to operate the same, and your jobs aren't either. And now it's kind of just this level of uncertainty. And it's just a lot. It's a lot of conflicts in the mind.
It's also, it sounds like there's like grief at losing, like a certain amount of grief at losing, things that were meant to be, like the traveling and the coffee shop and
Yeah.
and then fear for kind of like what does life look like now?
Yeah.
I'd say that for me, I am doing a lot better now than I was a few months ago, say maybe 4 months ago or so. And that doesn't mean that every day right now is a good day. I think that every day comes with its own struggles and feelings and emotions. But I think the difference now is that I have a better handle on it. So when the pandemic hit in March, it was overwhelming for me at that time, just because there were a lot of things that were going on in my life personally, and just sort of like straddling all of it was tough. But it wasn't like hard in the true sense of the word, because I was thinking, oh, this is gonna, fade away in a month or two, and then we're gonna go back to normal. But nope, 3 months into the pandemic, things really began to hit that this change has come to stay, and it was tough. It was very hard for me to sort of like try to keep my finger on things, and like the uncertainty of the pandemic and everything really hit me, and that was hard. And if you know me, I always have plan A, plan B, plan C, but all my plans failed. But then now I'm in a better place, because I've been able to sort of like not rely on my plans so much, but on God's plan. And that shift in perspective is what's helping me right now.
Larna, could you talk more about what's caused you to kind of move past that feeling of like, when is this going to be over, to like having a more like positive outlook, like you mentioned?
I think that for me, it's gonna sound funny, but this whole pandemic and everything's been happening, it's really helped me to understand the meaning and definition of faith. This whole idea of the substance of things hoped for. So of course, like Philip alluded earlier, like I had my own plans too for 2020. I was like, you know what, 2020 was going to be my year. I had plans.
Yeah. I think everyone felt that way.
In March, when the pandemic hit, like I started a new job, and the first day I was supposed to go to work was when the shutdown occurred. So there was this, okay, what's going to happen? So I just left my old job. So I was just feeling like, oh no, I shouldn't have left my job. Maybe I should. And that anxiety around work, am I gonna, be able to, am I still have a job, or will I be fired, or what's gonna happen? And then just when I was beginning to maybe wrap my head around that, it's like a week later or two, I broke my arm. So I had like this whole fracture. I'm dealing with that, and I live alone. And then on top of that, I had to move. So I was in the middle of a move, in the middle of a first job, and a broken arm. So it was extremely overwhelming, and it's like, and then there's a shutdown, so it's really hard to get people to come help you. So that was tough. And then as soon as I got through that, and then then this pandemic thing, and then with all the unrest that's been happening, so it was hard. And because I think that back then I was just more because sometimes I like to be in control, and because I always have plans and then backup and then more backup plan. When all the backup plans were failing, I didn't feel like I was in control of anything. And so I have all these hopes for the future, but then I know that God has a plan. And just relying, I know that my plan is failing, obviously, it's failed already. But knowing that God's plan is still intact, it's really helped me to move that focus from me and on God. And so that's like something that's very helpful for me in dealing with all the uncertainty. And so today I can say, I'm all right,
There you go.
That's awesome.
How about you, Darcy? How are you feeling?
Well, I think that it's always kind of that question is both, how am I doing today versus like, how am I doing in this season? And so today I'm doing well. I've had a mostly good day. I work as a therapist, so I did have a little bit of a stressful situation with a client earlier today. But just in general, it's been a good day. Over the season of my life, I think I have this like underlying sense of just feeling like a little bit stressed all the time, just like this like consistent sense of like something isn't quite right. I need to be taking care of something. Maybe I forgot
a little bit.
Yeah, maybe like a little bit of a sense of anxiety over like, am I forgetting something? Is there something I need to be doing? Am I being safe? Am I, making choices that are keeping my loved ones safe? So I think there's kind of that's been underlying. But also I've been having this incredible sense, which I thank God for, of awareness of my love and devotion to God and to the Son, Jesus Christ. And that like the verse that talks about like, I count all things but loss for the excellency of Jesus Christ. I think about, this has been a season of loss, like the loss of plans. I just started working and I'm in a new job, and most of my interaction with clients is over video, and there is a loss of connection and intimacy that just occurs because of technology. It's just not quite the same as being there physically with someone. And so that is a loss. But it has, I've been very much aware of, all of these things. There's nothing that matters more than the relationship that I have with Jesus Christ and with my Heavenly Father. So, and that is completely like that awareness that I've been feeling. I know that is God-given, because I think I can get easily focused on the anxieties and stresses and loss and get kind of consumed with that. So in that way, I'm grateful. I'm feeling grateful.